Welcome to the Food and Friends Nutrition Education Series. Today we're going to be talking about food safety and sharing some tips and tricks to keep you and your family safe from food poisoning. So who's at risk for food poisoning? Really everyone, but there are certain groups that are more likely to get sick, and this includes adults ages 65 and older, children younger than 5, people with weakened immune systems because of illness or medical treatment, and pregnant women. To reduce our risk, the 4 basic rules to follow for food safety are: number 1, clean. This includes hand washing, how to properly clean produce, and the importance of not rinsing your chicken. Number 2, separate. Keep raw meat away from cooked food or food that will not be cooked before eating is a good step in the right direction for keeping your food safe. Number 3 is cook. We're going to talk about how to use a food thermometer and proper cooking temperatures, and then chill. Starting with clean hands is one of the easiest ways to prevent food poisoning. When else should you wash your hands? Before, during, and after preparing food. After handling raw meat, which includes poultry, seafood, and their juices, as well as raw eggs. Before eating, after using the bathroom, or helping someone else use the bathroom, after touching garbage, before and after caring for somebody who's sick, after blowing your nose, before and after treating a cut or wound, and after handling pet food or treats. So now that we have clean hands, what about washing the food we eat? When it comes to fruits and vegetables, rinse them under cold running water. You don't need to use soap, detergents, or other produce washes. Should you rinse your produce before peeling? Definitely yes. This helps avoid dirt and bacteria from transferring to your cutting board and knife. This includes melons, carrots, cucumbers, potatoes, or anything that you prefer to peel before eating. Using a clean green scrubby pad, one that is reserved only for cleaning produce, or a clean vegetable brush on firm produce. For other types of produce, gently rub it under plain, cold running water. You can dry the produce with a clean cloth or paper towel. When washing lettuce or cabbage, we want to remove the outermost leaves. So what's wrong with produce washes? Produce is porous, which can make it easy for soap and other detergents to be absorbed into fruits and vegetables. Even if you rinse well, the cleaner will leave a residue on the food that can make you sick if eaten. The safety of eating commercial produce washes is not known, and their effectiveness to remove bacteria over plain running water has not been proven. Here we're washing a potato using only cold running water and a green scrubby pad that we cut in half. The friction created by our hands in the scrub pad is enough to remove any dirt and debris. It is not safe to ingest bug spray or other types of disinfectants. Remember, washing your food will not remove all of the cleaners or sprays. If you're handling bug spray or disinfectant cleaner, make sure it does not come in contact with the food you're eating. Also, be sure to wash your hands after using both of these sprays and before touching your food. Should I rinse chicken and other raw meats? No. Cooking food to the recommended temperature will kill any possible bacteria. When we rinse chicken, it's easy for this bacteria to spread throughout the kitchen. Research shows that water can splash bacteria up to 3 feet surrounding your sink, onto your countertops, other food, towels, and yourself. They have also found that even if you disinfect or sanitize the sink area after washing meat, bacteria can still remain. If you need to remove skin, blood, or fat from meat or poultry, do so on a clean cutting board with a knife or paper towel. Dispose of the paper towel directly after using it. Another way to keep you and your family safe from food poisoning is to make sure raw meat stays separate from other items, especially items that you do not mean to cook before eating. When storing them in your refrigerator, make sure raw meat, poultry, and seafood is stored in containers or sealed leak-proof bags. It's important to avoid raw juices from contaminating other food items. Avoid cross-contamination by not using the same cutting board for raw meat and fresh produce. If possible, use different cutting boards for different jobs. Perhaps your raw meat cutting board is red, and the one you use for fruits and vegetables is green. To clean your cutting board, wash it in hot soapy water after each use. If your cutting board came into contact with raw meat, allow it to sit in bleach or disinfectant for a few minutes before rinsing. After rinsing, let it air dry or pat with clean paper towels. If you are using bleach, dilute 1 tablespoon of unscented chlorine bleach for each gallon of water. Eventually, cutting boards will wear out. Deep grooves can hold bacteria that is hard to get rid of by washing. In this case, it may be time to replace your cutting board. When cooking foods, remember to not use the same utensils when it was raw versus when it's finished cooking. For example, if you use tongs to place raw chicken in a pan, do not use the same tongs to remove it once it's fully cooked. You want to either use new tongs or wash those tongs thoroughly with soapy water in between. Is it safe to reuse a marinade or use it as a sauce? This is not recommended. If you would like to use some marinated as a sauce for the finished product, it's best to reserve a portion on a side before putting raw meat or poultry in it. As we enter picnic season, outdoor food safety is an important thing to keep in mind. When packing coolers, you want to fill a cooler 3/4 full of food and leave a quarter space for ice. You should also separate uncooked foods like meats to grill from ready prepared items like potato salad to avoid cross-contamination or bacteria. It is also helpful to have a separate cooler for drinks, as people are opening and closing this more often. If drinks are in the same cooler as food, the food will have trouble staying at the proper safe temperature. The danger zone is when the temperature of food is above 40 degrees and below 140 degrees. It is called this because when food is in this temperature range, it is the perfect environment for bacteria to grow. If the temperature is 75 degrees outside and you're enjoying a nice picnic, bacteria is doubling every 20 minutes, so food should not be left out for longer than 2 hours. If the temperature outside happens to be 90 degrees, do not leave food out for more than an hour. There are 3 safe ways to defrost your food. Never defrost your food on the kitchen counter. Number 1, you can use a refrigerator. This process does require some planning ahead as it can take the longest, but is also the safest and easiest. Place frozen meat or other food item on a plate and defrost in the refrigerator. Using a tray, plate, or leak-proof bag will help ensure that raw juices do not contaminate other items in your fridge. Foods thawed using this method can be refrozen if necessary, but this may affect the quality of the product. Cold water thawing. This method is faster than the refrigerator, but requires more attention. Make sure the food is in a leak-proof bag or packaging so the product does not absorb water. Submerge the food packaging in cold tap water and change it every 30 minutes as it continues to thaw. Foods thawed using this method should be cooked immediately after thawing. Do not refreeze these items without cooking first. Then there's microwave thawing. Plan to cook these items immediately. Do not refreeze these items without cooking first. Before using a food thermometer, read the manufacturer's instructions. Read about how far to insert the thermometer in the food to get the accurate reading. You can follow these simple steps to ensure you're correctly using a food thermometer. Step 1, test it. Use either ice water or boiling water to confirm your food thermometer is accurate. Step 2, calibrate it. If during step 1 you found that it was not accurate, you want to read the instructions about how to adjust the thermometer as needed to ensure you get an accurate reading. Step 3, place it properly. Placement is very important to get an accurate reading. Place the food thermometer in the thickest part of the food. making sure it does not touch bone, fat, or gristle. Step 4, don't rush it. Wait the recommended amount of time for your type of thermometer. For meat products including raw beef, pork, lamb, veal, steaks, chops, and roast, use the food thermometer before removing meat from the heat source. For safety and quality, allow meat to rest at least 3 minutes before carving or consuming it. If you have a larger cut of meat, you'll want to wait longer than 3 minutes for the food to rest. Step 5, take care of it. Clean your food thermometer with clean, soapy water after each use. This prevents cross-contamination and the spread of harmful bacteria. Cooking food to the recommended temperature will also help avoid food poisoning by getting it hot enough to kill any germs or bacteria. Some require resting times, as we mentioned before, and this will allow the innermost meat and juices to become fully cooked. Here we have a list of foods and their temperatures. You want to cook seafood to 145 degrees, beef, pork, and ham. You want to cook to 145 degrees with a 3-minute rest. For ground meat, meat mixtures, egg dishes, like quiches, we want to cook to 160 degrees. And poultry, microwave food, or reheated leftovers should be heated to 165 degrees Fahrenheit. Leftovers can be kept in the refrigerator for 3 to 4 days. If you do not think you'll use it during this time period, you can always freeze it to avoid food waste. When taking leftovers home from a restaurant, they must be refrigerated within 2 hours. Knowing how long to store uncooked meat can also help prevent food poisoning. Here is a list of common items and how long they should be stored in your refrigerator before cooking. Remember, if your plans change and you will not be cooking these items in the expected time frame, you can always put them in the freezer. Ground meat, sausages, organ meats, poultry, fresh fish, and shellfish should be cooked within 1 to 2 days after purchasing. Beef, lamb, pork, this includes steaks, chops, and roasts. Store-prepared egg, chicken, tuna, and macaroni salad should be kept for 3 to 5 days. Hard-boiled eggs should be consumed 1 week after hard boiling them. Eggs in the shell that are raw should be consumed within 3 to 5 weeks after purchasing them at the store. More information about how long to store different foods can be found on the FoodKeeper app or on their website. We've covered a lot of information today, so let's recap. Number 1, wash your hands before doing any kind of meal preparation or eating. It's especially important to wash them after handling raw meat or eggs. Number 2, skip the produce wash or soaps and use cold running water and a scrub pad or brush. Number 3, do not rinse your chicken. Number 4, keep raw meats and their juices separate from other foods. And number 5, use a cooking thermometer to check if your food has reached safe cooking temperatures. If you have questions about anything discussed in this video or other food safety questions, please join us for our live Q&A session on Wednesday, May 24th at 3 p.m. You can also reach out to your dietitian. We would love to hear from you. Thank you for taking the time to learn more about food safety. If there are any additional topics you would like us to discuss in the future, please let us know.